What is good with the YouTube? It is your boy Sean Rock to the Represent Mandatory Thrive HGBM, because every day it is mandatory for us to thrive, and I'm back again with another video. And if you are not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe, hit the notification, share the videos on your social media platforms, on your Google, whatever platforms that you on. Please get this content out. The channel name is Mandatory Thrive, which stands for every day is mandatory for us to thrive. And today, the topic we're going to talk about is how to overcome depression and anxiety naturally. So before I give a couple tips that I find to be beneficial and helpful for me, how I've overcome some of these things, I want to say that usually anything that's natural, anything that you can do on your own is going to require some work. So it's not going to be easy, but it's always going to be worth it, right? Because whatever is not easy, it's always usually worth it. It's always a great reward for the efforts that you put into, doing these things. So anyways, so a couple tips of overcoming anxiety and depression. The first tip is understanding that you're not alone. Understanding that there are millions and millions of people in society around the world who's struggling with anxiety and depression for various different reasons. So you have to understand that this is a collective issue and that you are a part of a bigger picture of humanity, and that there are people are struggling with similar things. So just understanding first that you're not alone. Number two is accepting that this is a challenge, right, for you. Accepting it and accepting that it's something that's a part of who you are, because usually when it comes to healing or growth, it has to be a part of accepting, an alcoholic or a drug addict has to accept that in some form or fashion there will always be an addict until the day that they die. And this acceptance brings liberation. So that's the second thing. The third thing is journaling. Journaling. I cannot express this enough. If you are struggling with anxiety and depression, journaling is going to be a vital and essential tool to helping you get over the edge. Because one of the things that I've learned about journaling is that journaling literally puts so much in perspective. It's like a free therapist. Literally, journaling is a free therapist. A notepad is $1 at the dollar store, right? Or you can get 180 sheets for $1 at in a few pens, and you have your built-in therapist. The reason why journaling helps is because it gives us a safe space to express deep hurt, deep feelings, and not only to express those feelings, but to collect data about those feelings and kind of see where the timeline is coming from. Like, where does this lead from? Like, why? You can see and understand where things happen and how they connect. Journaling is going to give you a great perspective, and it's a safe, effective place, right? You don't have to worry about being judged. You don't have to worry about being critiqued. You can just be direct and effective in your own personal engagement and be your own therapist. Journaling has helped me to pinpoint various points in my life, from childhood trauma up into adulthood, that has led to a lot of my own personal anxiety and depression. All right, so journaling. The fourth thing would be exercise. You have to get those dopamine hits. You need to be doing some sort of strength or weight training and some cardiovascular training. Exercise is a stress creator, but it's also a stress reliever. Exercise has been proven and shown to help, cease, if not eliminate, the bulk of the challenges that come with anxiety and depression. So you need to be doing some form of exercising, daily exercise to, put some additional stress on your body, but get some stress off. This is going to help you tremendously. I've never had really strong depression per se. Depression wasn't my thing. Depression was something that I would have every so often, usually during darker seasons like the winter and the fall. Those were the only times. But anxiety was anxiety was like almost a moment by moment thing. Like it was an everyday battle. Like literally, I've struggled with anxiety. Anxiety has been, a big part of me, and I believe. Well, I'll talk about that after I say finish this part. But yeah, so I feel like exercise has helped with anxiety, but I understand through journaling why I've struggled with anxiety, because I've always struggled to not live in the present. I don't live in the past very much. I live in the future a lot. That's what I discovered from my journaling. I live a lot of steps ahead of me, which creates an extreme anxiety and fear, right? That's what I got from my journaling and just reading and discovering different things. That's usually a big creator for most why, or at least for me, but for most people, why, we struggle with anxiety, because we're living in the future a lot of the time. We're trying to dictate what's going to happen next and worried about the outcome of what's going to happen next. So anyways, exercise, right? So that's a few basic tools that you can use to deal with it. And then the last but not least thing is the change in relationship with your anxiety and depression, and a change with the relationship with the way that you think. Let me say that again. A change with your relationship with anxiety and depression, and a change in the way that you think. You have to change the way that you think. It isn't, the majority of the things that we experience is based on the way that we assess and look at things. We look at things and we create our world based on the way that we think about things. So you have to change your mind. I have conversations with people all the time, and you can hear a flow of different wordages or different, I would call, self-abuse, right? And self-neglect, self-communication that they're having in a brief conversation. And all of that self-talk is dictating where you're going to be. So you have to change your mind. You have to change your relationship. You have to say, okay, I feel depressed. I feel anxious. But I'm going to dictate and determine my own feelings, and I'm going to choose to act according to what I want to see based on what I'm putting in my mind, right? So if the cup is half full or half empty, that's totally up to me. I can choose to see the cup as half full or half empty. And that's really going to change my trajectory. So you have to change your mind. So that's about 5 tips to help you if you're struggling with anxiety and depression. Sorry, it wasn't any simple, basic things. But once again, as I always say, if it's easy, the reward is not going to be worthy. If it's hard, the reward is always going to be worthy. So salute to everybody out there gaining. Remember, dream big, work hard, live great. Don't stop. It's your boy Sean Rock to the aka Lil Nicky.